Contact
Focus
deploy
group with
beacon
achievements to
active.
unlock, costumes and skins, crates galore, and just like Battle Royale Strike, I feel like I'm playing a AAA game. For this being Garena's first mobile game, they sure nailed the anti-consumer. Let's get out of here. Last Battleground Survival. Alright, I'm ready. What you got for me? Yeah, each page uses the Windows XP mouse click sound effect. I mean every single menu. Why would you do this? Nobody liked that sound effect when Windows XP was still a thing. The mouse already makes the clicking noise.
Learn to think twice before trying that again.
Please remain patient while we don't tell you what's going on. So the game finally starts. That's subtle. As you're parachuting down, you can make yourself fall faster if you know where you want to go. I kind of like this as it adds realism. So the game is fun enough, but it's glitchy. Your character gets stuck on everything and sometimes even the ground for no reason. Oh, I can walk on that now? Huh. The shooting is very easy. All you have to do is slide over someone and the game auto-locks onto them forever, and there's nothing you can do once you're targeted too. I honestly can't believe these people can't hit me right now. Oh, never mind. The developers behind this game are kind of interesting. I think they may have an obsession with Clash of Kings, even though they didn't even make that game. They did, however, make Age of Kings, King of Kings, Vikings Age of War, Age of War Empires, Crown Wars, Heroes Throne. Maybe they're just obsessed with loyalty. Most of their games have to do with or people of prestige. Oh no, wait, here's one. Love Nikki Dress Up Queen. Son of a bitch. When it comes to their latest battle survival game, they seem to update it pretty regularly, which sounds like a good thing, but according to the reviews, after the last update, freaking everything is glitching. Fix it, please. I get stuck on everything. Last two updates ruined it. Everything glitches. Get stuck on any rendered object other than the ground. Jump function was screwed up on the update before last. Everything they do to make this game better causes lag and takes away from gameplay. It seems like maybe Elix should revert their updates and stop touching stuff, but I'm new here. Who am I to judge? Now, where's that exit button? Our last game is Exile Battle Royale, made by 505 Games, and if you know mobile gaming, 505 is everywhere. But 505 has been around on more than just phone games. I'm sure a lot of you guys know the second I said 505, these are the guys who published Terraria, Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons, Payday 2, the Arma games. These guys are up there, so you know this is going to be good. Before I get a chance to play this game, I have to enable permissions in my settings. Hello, uninstall button. You're looking particularly good today. No. I gotta set up permissions. I also wasn't allowed into the game without logging into Google Play. Every other game let me log in as a guest, but this one? No, that's a requirement. I wasn't allowed to use Bullet Berry. Seems someone else already took that one. Thanks,
Government
guys.
troops.
Alright,
Liquidate
we're
all
logged in and...
hostiles.
Whoa! Look at that bulge! Now that's the bulge of a winner.
Let's go.
I don't even need a team. Me and my friend here have this covered. Okay, so there are no solo matches. Okay, so there are no duo matches. Okay, there are no matches at all. This game is abandoned. It seems the highest peak for this game was a couple thousand people, and every single one of them took off. You think they were jealous? That's it, I'm leaving too. You, sir, you stay here and you think about what you've done. I'll see you later tonight. It's amazing to me how many of these things there are. I only grabbed 10 of them, but like I said, there are hundreds, and sure, a few of them are good. Free Fire Battlegrounds and Knives Out were really well done, but nothing does the original PUBG better than PUBG. Unless you want a free game like Fortnite or Last Man Standing, but semantics, am I right? These mobile games are annoying anyway. Can I access your photos? No. Can I access your phone? No. We just want your location.
Deploy beacon
Off.
online.
This is just one annoying issue you won't find on Steam. Hell, you open crates on these apps and you get crap, but in PUBG there were some.
Friendly TAC deploy
Wait,
beacon
this
offline.
jacket is worth $10.
Let's
These
go.
pants are worth
Sniper.
$20. This is a $30 game. I can literally make my money back here. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Steam Guard, for making me have to wait a fortnight and a half. Oh, sorry, no, I didn't actually mean for that to be the pun. Or did I? That one's left to the battleground. I mean the unknown. Damn it! I totally screwed that up. Should I try again? I can make a joke about my little hole out.
Body till somebody loves you.
Shoot.
So find yourself somebody to love. Which of these games is easier? Fortnite or PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds? PUBG is often seen as a hardcore milsim type game, and Fortnite a kid-friendly cartoon shooter. But does one of these games actually require more skill than the other? Now I know what you're thinking. In fact, that's a lie, because I've no doubt what you're thinking is entirely different, because I could ask 100 people the question, and I've got no doubt that I get a massive mix and range of answers, but it raised an interesting line of thought with me because I think both of these games have a very high skill ceiling, but in vastly different ways. Let's get into the meat and bones of this though and see if we can get a better understanding of it. To begin with, let's look at the obvious, the gunplay mechanics. After all, shooting is probably what you'll do most of the time in both of these games. And as we all know, PUBG is grounded in reality and prides itself on that fact. You've got loads of bullet drop on the snipers, on the assault rifles, you've got big recoil and spread on all of the weapons, especially something like the AK-47 or the M249. And you ideally need to find good attachments for your weapons to make them handle how you'd like them to. Projectile speeds of the guns vary wildly too. Gunplay at medium to long range in PUBG especially requires you to leave long gaps between your shots and lead your targets more. Every shot needs to be placed carefully, and knowing what the right attachments are for the right situation can be difficult. Fortnite, on the other hand, is far more easy to manage when it comes to weaponry. Sure, you do have a big drop on the sniper rifles. The bolt action, new hunting rifle and semi-auto sniper are actually projectile based, where all of the other guns in the game are hit scan, and you don't have to worry about recoil so much. At close to medium range, it really is just point and click when it comes to the assault rifles in Fortnite, especially if you're crouching. You can hold mouse 1, track your target and be very effective. There's barely any recoil there, although there is some spread. Obviously the rarity of your assault rifle affects that too though. Shotguns on the other hand in Fortnite, well, you can hop around like a bunny rabbit like nobody's business with them because the game doesn't punish you for moving around or jumping while shooting. In fact, it almost promotes it with building mechanics. It's part of the meta. We'll get onto that soon. PUBG, on the other hand, massively punishes you for moving, jumping and shooting at the same time, and it does require you to take care of your movement when firing your weapons. So let's talk about that movement then. In PUBG, movement is pretty straightforward and it's what you would expect. Of course, you can jump, walk, sprint, just like in Fortnite, but for the most part in PUBG, you're limited to where you can go. You can head into a building or take cover behind a tree or a wall, and players who play the game long enough can get a good understanding of where a player can be. If there's a group of houses that you're running towards, you already know that in your head, a guy can't possibly be on that roof because that particular roof is inaccessible. But in Fortnite, because of the building mechanics, it's a completely open playing field. Players can destroy pretty much anything on the map, trees, buildings, cars, rocks, and get pretty much anywhere they like because they can build there. And that changes the way you have to think because it breaks the rules of what you're used to in other PvP games, and you've got to be far more on your guard. Someone could literally be anywhere in Fortnite, even 1,000 feet in the air. And that brings us nicely onto the building aspect, because honestly, it's the biggest part of Fortnite. And I think it's what sets it apart from other BR games like PUBG the most. The building is the hardest and arguably easiest part of the game. It's very simple to understand and to do. I mean, if you just want to build a ramp, build a wall, you can do it with the press of a button. That's not difficult. But building the right pieces at the right time and quick enough to not only stop yourself from being hit, but also to use as an attacking tool on other players is extremely difficult under pressure. You've got to think about a lot of stuff at once, in a very short amount of time, if you want to consistently beat your opponents. And that's what separates the main gameplay from Battlegrounds. If a team or squad of enemies is coming towards you, in Fortnite you can put up a wall, a ramp, you can get back to cover, you could build a bouncy boy, fly out of there, or you could build high towards them and try to get that advantage instead. Of course, it's a risk-reward scenario though, because cover can be destroyed, and if you're high up in the air and they destroy the building that you're on, you're in trouble. The other benefit to being able to build your own cover in Fortnite is that it reduces the annoyance of being caught out in the middle of nowhere with zero cover, something that can happen quite often in PUBG, especially if you've been forced to move because of the random circle. In Fortnite, if you find yourself in a situation like that, where you're out in the open with no cover, someone starts shooting at you, you know what, spin around, throw up a wall, and you've got a chance to get away or get some cover. Of course, if you're in a squad fight in PUBG, you'll still have to think about a few things at once though, but I'd say that the pressure is a lot less than it is in Fortnite. In PUBG, when you get into, let's say, the last circle, controlling the only building in the zone, it could win you your game for your squad. But in Fortnite, you could build it yourself. If you watch someone who's incredible at the game, like Ninja or Myth, for example, two big Twitch streamers who have blown up recently from playing Fortnite, their building skills are just insane. It's so fast and they're always thinking a few moves ahead. Now, as it happens, these two players also have great aim. But in Fortnite, I think someone who masters the building mechanics can potentially outplay someone who's got a stronger aim than them. Maybe they're not as good an aimer, but if they're efficient with building, then they could outplay their opponent. In PUBG though, put two players in equal positions with the same guns, and the chances are that the stronger aimer will always win, for the most part. In Fortnite, you can just offset some of your aim and compensate for it with your building skills. It's arguably more important. On the flip side, I think you could argue though that because you're stuck with the cover that you're given and the circle controls your fate, planning where to go next and reposition in PUBG can be quite difficult. At times it's hard to know in PUBG if you made the right call and moved to the right spot. Of course, the maps in PUBG are much bigger than the standard Fortnite map too. So if we're talking about broad strokes, the building element is definitely what sets these two games apart. You could argue that aiming a weapon like the Kar98 in Battlegrounds and accommodating for drop and lead takes more skill. But you could say that building efficiently with walls, ramps, floors to outmaneuver three guys and win a situation that was otherwise unwinnable takes more skill than that. Obviously they both take skill, but they're just massively different types of skill. If you look at a close-range firefight in PUBG versus Fortnite, in Fortnite they tend to be a lot quicker and more violent. The game is definitely more arcadey in that respect. Gunfights in PUBG, on the other hand, are definitely much more drawn out. So I think that reaction speed and snap aiming plays much more of an effect in a game like Fortnite. Gathering materials is another aspect of Fortnite that you just can't take for granted, especially in early game. To build and survive, you'll need materials, but of course, when you're farming them, you're going to be vulnerable that enemies are around. Enemies can see trees falling down or hear car alarms going off while you're farming, and you can be a bit of a sitting duck. Of course, you can also grab materials off enemies when you can, assuming that they've got some. One thing that PUBG has definitely got going for it is that you can visually see what level a player's armor is at, and that definitely requires you to tactically think about an engagement. Should you take that fight or not? Should you push? Should you be defensive? You can see if a player's got a level 3 helmet or a level 3 chest armor on, and then you know from your learned experiences how much damage you can do, potentially with a headshot, for example. You often have to work out for yourself how much damage you think you could have done to know if you should perhaps swap out to another weapon. In Fortnite, some of that skill is definitely taken away and given to you for free because you're given damage stats on your screen with every single hit. It tells you if you're doing blue shield damage or white health damage, and even if you get a critical hit in yellow. So you could argue that knowing when to push someone in Fortnite is made that bit easier by knowing that you've knocked someone's armor off or hit them in the head. Therefore, in PUBG, you really have to be paying attention yourself and use your learned knowledge to decide that. Perhaps that means that knowing when you've got an advantage over your opponent is harder in PUBG. What about the armor and equipment element of both of these games? Well, in terms of armor, health and shield, Fortnite is very simple to understand. You've got a health bar, and if you find a potion, you can add your shield. And this is effectively giving you more health. With PUBG, however, there are helmets and chest armor, 3 levels of each, and they can take damage and eventually break. And it doesn't simply equate to more health either. Instead, it's damage mitigation. So that means that managing your armor and keeping tabs on it and knowing when you should maybe swap something out is something that you don't have to worry about in Fortnite because it simply doesn't exist in that game. So there's definitely more depth, therefore, in the health and armor system of PUBG, in my opinion. I think the same can be said for the inventory management too. In Fortnite, you've got room for 5 inventory slots plus any traps or campfires. It's very simple and easy to understand. PUBG, on the other hand, well, you can only carry 2 primary weapons and 1 secondary, but then you can add and remove attachments to them. And then you've got 3 different backpacks that have different capacity levels, and you've got a chest armor that has a capacity level, painkillers, meds, boosts. You've got to manage your ammunition too. That takes up space on your character, and you need to take all of that into account. The composition of your character's loot is very important in a round of PUBG. It's a big part of the meta. Fortnite, on the other hand, ammunition doesn't take up space in your inventory, and you can just run over it to pick it up. But generally speaking, every game of Fortnite, I'd say it's fair to say that if you've got a SCAR, a shotgun, and a sniper, you're good to go. Expanding on this idea, looting in PUBG is definitely more complex. Loot can spawn in more places, and having to locate the right